So this guy over here, Mr. Raphael Stark, he's the founder of the Sao Paulo-based Stark Bank. He basically said in Forbes magazine, "I don't believe in remote work," says the founder of a Jeff Bezos-backed Latin Fintech company. These dudes, man. You know, I got to go back to the pandemic, which is crazy. Like the pandemic this March will be 4 years ago. Like, that's crazy. It's been 4 years. There was a lot of bad things that happened in the pandemic, especially there was a lot of people who got sick, a lot of people who died, a lot of people still have illnesses from that time. So it was a bad time. But there were some good things that came out of that pandemic. And one of the good things that came out of that was remote work. I think when people kind of settled in and realized, okay, I won't be going back to work for a while, and once they got their Wi-Fi fixed and got their laptops and Chromebooks going, I think I saw a report recently from 2022 and from Forbes magazine, and they said remote workers were 20% happier due to remote work. They were happy. They was happy working from home. And this carried on forever. There was very few people, I think, who hated remote work. The ones who didn't want to be at home. They don't want to be around the wife. They want to be around the kids. They don't want to be around the husband. Maybe they had a mistress or a side piece on the side and they couldn't leave home. Yeah. I'm sure that happened a lot. But guys like this guy Stark, he thinks like guys like Musk, where they just want people back at work all the time. And the interesting thing, so that was the 2022 piece. Say everybody, 20% of people were happier. And in 2023, in the fall of 2023, that's when you saw CEOs mandating people to come back to the job. Mandating. And now there's a lot of people who say, hey man, I'm kind of cool with this remote thing. And it's like, no, we need you back here. Now let's be honest, man. Yeah, this guy, he was also saying that we need people who are aligned with what we're building. And he also said that he feels like that like remote work are in their comfort zone. No. How many people do you know who are at their jobs right now who can care less about that job? It's just a paycheck. To think because you're working, you're actually in the building, in the office, that you're aligned with the company. It's like, please. Most people are either talking to their coworkers, maybe watching this video, playing games. Do they do their jobs? Yeah. Do they mess around and screw around most of the day? Yeah. So the effect of this guy, I feel like there's nobody, unless you're working on a line someplace like industrial where you have to pay attention, or chopping meat or something like that. There's nobody who's working in a corporate office who's I'm in it 8 hours. Oh yeah, I'm here. I just focus on the job 8 hours. No one does that. Even this guy doesn't do that. The thing about these CEOs, VPs, they take these long lunch breaks. They're gone for 2 hours, or they got these morning meetings where when they don't come until 10 or 11 o'clock. Like, they have breaks. They have things throughout their day that breaks up their day. Most people do not. Most people are stuck in that cubicle, and that's what they do all day. It's very much like Office Space, which is great. Like, they're stuck where they are all day, and that's it. Guys like this guy, Elon Musk, can say like, oh, I hate remote work. Yeah, but he's flying around all over the place. These guys aren't like everybody else. So yeah, they hate remote work, but at least they have a different variety of what they do all day. It's ridiculous. So here's what should happen. Create a hybrid. Talk to your employees. Ask them about remote work and say, listen, you can do remote 2 days a week, 3 days a week, but I need you in the office at least half a day. So 4 hours here, 4 hours there, or I need you here one day when we have meetings. Like, that's perfectly fine. I think most employees would be okay with a hybrid remote situation. And the beautiful thing about remote work is, if you get sick, you don't need to call off. You can say, well, I need to have a sick day. I need to take a vacation day. No, if you're sick, you just say like, okay, well, I'm sick, but I can still do my job. I'm not trying to infect everybody. How many people you know who should have never been at their job because they were sick, but they are used to their vacation time? They don't have any sick days, and they brought all that to the office space, and guess what? Everybody else gets sick. Or if your kid gets it, let's say you're at work and your kid gets sick at school or something happens, so then you have to drive to the school. right? Then you have to tell your boss, oh, I got to leave. My kid got sick or they got in trouble. I have to go to the school. If you're doing it remotely, you don't have to do it. You just kind of close the laptop, go check on your kid and come back. Same thing with lunch. You can just eat and do your work at the same time. This whole thing about some companies, oh, you only have a half an hour for lunch. Or okay, you might get an hour, but if you live further away from some place to eat, you drive there, you come back, and you might only have maybe 10, 15 minutes for lunch. Or let's say for a lot of people, they work through lunch because they have so much work to do. There's nothing wrong with remote work. And also, let's take a look at the environment. The environment's the same. I remember during the pandemic, people were saying like animals were popping up all over the place. Because the animals were like, man, we can breathe. There's no cars. You saw it looked like Bambi. You saw like rabbits and deers, chipmunks walking around, birds were chirping. Everybody was happy because you didn't have cars on the expressway polluting the air. Same thing, like I live in Akron. Same thing with the Midwest and the East and like Colorado where you have a lot of snow and ice, or even down south where they have ice these days. I never understood why you have to make people go to work at the same time. Especially like if it's snowing. Like in those situations, a responsible CEO would say like, hey, you guys stay at home, do remotely. I don't want to endanger people's lives. Because let's say you do drive in the snow when you get a car accident, you can't go to work anyway. Because either A, you got to wait for the tow truck. You might not have transportation to get to work. And then you have to figure out how to get home from work if you can't get a rental. There's nothing wrong with remote work. Moving forward, I think most companies should either do remote work as a hybrid or go with a 4-day work week. So at least then people can have more work-life balance. What do you think? How do you feel about remote work? Is this guy right? Should everybody be in the office? Should there be a hybrid? Or you're kind of like, no, I like being a remote worker. It works for me. I'm still doing my work. In fact, I'm actually a better worker because I'm doing remotely and I have a better work-life balance. Let me know.